now that these companies have more of this access and advantages, are there any methods that artisan ice cream companies could employ to make them compete more in today's market?
Yeah, for sure. I think, one of the biggest ways to compete is staying on top of trends and letting consumers know that you're on top of trends. Ice cream is a great category because there's a concept when we talk about food and culture and food acceptance and food marketing, neophobia and neophilia, how open you are to new ideas and new things. And so for some foods like grains, for example, or center of plate items like meat and seafood, there's a lot of neophobia. We don't want our rice or our steak to be innovative. We want it to be comforting, right? That's why we talk about, a meat and potatoes type person literally wants their meat and potatoes. But around the perimeter, snacks, confections, frozen desserts, frozen novelties, we want innovation, and we are especially accepting of that innovation. So I think that's a category that people are always looking for what's next, what's new. It's also a category that marketers have really taken advantage of in showing off their new products, right? It's one that, I think we've all experienced this, or you could do it right now. If you think of a great flavor that you really want to try, you start salivating and craving that in a way that you might not with other categories. And so I think marketers are really good at both coming up with innovative products and launching them. And it's relatively low barriers to entry. A lot of the ingredients, as I said, the supply chain is pretty robust. So you can buy the base, you can buy the puree, you can buy the inclusions, some smart branding, and you can be in business with it within a few days on a new product launch as an artisan manufacturer, in a way that some of the bigger players would spend months doing sensory work and supply chain and getting everything buttoned up. And there's no right or wrong. It's just we're seeing that the consumers are not being as patient as they might have been in the past because of all this access to information and craving of these new flavors and excitement. And artisan manufacturers are really poised to take advantage of that.
Well, you mentioned innovation. Has artisan ice cream companies provided any significant breakthroughs in the past decade that have permanently altered the actual creation and production of the ice cream flavors?
I'm not sure it's that much innovation around the technology of ice cream making, as much as innovations in terms of flavors, combination of flavors, bringing things to market. One that's in my head, just because it's so striking, is that deep black activated charcoal ice cream that was a trend a few years ago. And it was really a trend because of social media. It also is pretty tasty. But that's an example where there wasn't really a mass market version of that, but it was something that caught on through social media, and artisan manufacturers were quick to launch it and also quick to discontinue it, which is not necessarily a bad thing, right? Trying things out, seeing what sticks, and keeping on top of the trends.
And so what do you think the future of artisan ice cream companies will look like about a decade from today?
I think one of the things we'll see is that there's going to be some M&A and some consolidation in that sector. I think I've been doing food product development for decades now, and there's a pretty steady pendulum shift back and forth between the big CPG companies saying, we have the greatest minds in the business, we're going to do innovation in-house, maybe with some consultants, but it's going to be our innovations that we'll take to market, and saying, you know what, we're a big stodgy company, we struggle to innovate, let's keep our eyes open externally at who's innovating out in the real world and either invest or acquire some of those players. And I think we're shifting now to more of that M&A model, an investment model, where there's a lot of interest in what the cool kids are doing in terms of startups, and there's a lot of interest. One of the things that's encouraging to me is, rather than just acquisitions, which has been the story in the past, there's been a lot of big acquisitions, and then those acquisitions may make that brand a household name or may kill that brand. One of the things that's really inspiring is food companies putting their dollars as investments in some of these smaller players to help build them up. Maybe there's an acquisition down the road, but either way, it's a win-win.
Fantastic. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Dr. Jonathan Deutsch, Professor and Director of Drexel Food Core Lab, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
And thank you all for watching.